just wanted to point out 3 things I felt that I learned in this program and how each activity we did, related to what I learned. Well, the 3 things that I learned was help versus love, like the definition of help and the difference, between just helping and loving and helping, and the importance of teamwork and trust, and the true meaning of leadership. And like growing up in the Philippines as a MK, like watching my dad, help, people in poverty, I always thought it was a necessary thing to help others as a Christian. But then through this program, I learned that what's most important is, like what you think and feel while helping others. Like just helping is really nothing. The first thing we did was planting sprouts, and through that I learned that how the sprout is really, really tiny, and like even in the sprout, it's the roots that contains the most nutrients. So I learned that even if we're really really little right now, we're only in high school, just like the tiny plant can have so much nutrients and give so much nutrients to the people who eat it, we can also have a big impact in the world by even doing something really small like making soaps for others, or making mud pots for people. Another thing I learned is thankfulness through like the farming stuff we did, like the more labor part of the stuff we did here. And while we were, the first thing we did outside boiling water was twigs and matches, and also at the New Life Ranch, the horse activity that we did, and the ropes course activities we did. There I learned the importance of teamwork and how trusting really matters. And since we're not alone in this world, in order to achieve something or help others, you need the companion of others. So it's really important to work together. And the trip to Walmart, and the trip to Walmart, what's his name?
Sam Walton?
Yes, Sam Walton. I learned that a true leader has a goal that's for others, not for himself, but for others, with a good, like if you start anything with a good intention, then God will make that happen. Like if you do it for good of others, like why wouldn't God make that happen? So that's basically what I learned.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah. Revolves around 3 points, and I want to begin by talking about the sprout and what we learned from taking care of these plants. And I'm sure I've already elaborated a lot on this, but the sprout represents us, and the seeds are what we started as. And in order to be a sprout, we need to be reborn by breaking out of our seed. And we can do that by destroying our greed and pride, and setting the boundaries to care for less fortunate people than us. In Walmart, by visiting Walmart, we learned gradualism. Then in everything, there is a process, and you can't just have a sudden kind of thing. And just like the stove, where we had to find the mud and mix it, and then we had to put it in the mold. So through a lot of these events, and we learned that there is gradualism. And at the New Life Ranch, we learned how important communication was, and how it doesn't always have to be an oral kind of thing. It can be body language, sounds, and a lot of variety, different methods. And we also learned how to have a carefully guided life. Because when we guided the horses through the obstacle course, we learned that this horse could represent our life, and the food could represent temptation. And so we can carefully guide our life and make it out by being strict and being steady, by being reborn and having gradualism. Okay, that's it.
Wow. Just realized, yeah, about fun again.
Well, I talked about the importance of water, and first of all, we got to first-handedly know how tiring it is to pump water for some people. Like, we're used to just getting water easily by just opening a valve and the water pours out. Then some people in the world have to go out every morning and walk miles to just fetch water and pump it for like 30 minutes. We did for like 2 days, I think. And we should be really thankful for that. And we saw some presentations about how water is killing or saving a lot of people. So water is very important. And when we went to the university, we saw a lot of technologies and machines that make clean water. So people put time and their money to make that kind of technology. And that's it about the water. And when I first arrived at the airport, I thought about how stupid and boring this camp was gonna be. But then, as I spent time together with everyone, I started to fall in love with this place. And now that we're about to leave, I really want to stay here. Thanks for all the memories and have a great rest of the summer.
You're always welcome. Okay? This is
Yeah.
a place for you, our alumni.
And old things. Because when you think about it, like coming to the countryside, like since we all live in the metropolitan area, it's like a new experience. But when you think of farm life, there's that stipulation that's like, you know, kind of old and like old people, what you did back a few decades ago. So that was like one mixture of it. So I'm just going to go through like some of the things that we've done, what I thought about them. So like again, with making the soap and like gardening and stuff like that, it's mixing a new experience, but like, you know, soap is like everything's processed and everything these days, but we're doing it by hand, manually, maybe something that people would do a longer time ago. So that's another like old new thing. Then this one day I just wrote down a lot of stuff like about the day, and the gardening with Travis kind of stuck out with me because when we got there, he was like, this is kind of the beginning of a commercial farm. But when he said like the word like a C in the word, I thought he was going to say community farm. But when he said commercial, like my first thought was kind of like, you know, commercial farming, you think of like making money and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, I was kind of confused, I guess, because I thought this would be more about like a, you know, getting together kind of thing. But then I realized that like when I saw how honest he was about everything, and he wasn't so, like he didn't seem really set back by all the drawbacks that they had while he was trying to make that commercial farm. So I was actually kind of touched, and then I changed my viewpoint about that. And I realized that, you know, everyone needs to make money in this world, and even we know like everyone in the poor countries, like they have a lot of hard times because they don't have that money. So I thought it was a different experience for me. And then okay, so for the stove pots, I didn't realize that we would finish most of the pot in one day. So I was really happy about that. But you know, going through the whole experience of like doing everything out in the hot sun, but being able to finish it all, and I had fun using my feet to kind of like push it down and everything. So it was really hard, but I was really glad that we did it. And then I guess when I came here and I heard about the mud stove and stuff like that, my expectations were kind of different because I don't know, I had this different image of what the stove pot would look like in my mind. And I guess I thought it would be more like, not sophisticated, but like, you know, a lot more, a little bit more advanced. But then I realized that like, you know, you have to start with something simple, and it's even more efficient than what they're doing right now in the developing countries. So I realized that it was actually a really good mechanism to use. And I kind of talked about this in our group meetings, but when we went to John Brown University and we met with Cliff and everything, I was kind of curious, or like I was questioning myself, because he came up with all these different things that are like really useful for these people, and he was able to use materials that they can find, you know, in the community that they're living. And I thought, like, does he need a patent for this stuff? Like, what if someone tries to steal it and just make it for money? And then I realized that he was probably doing this like out of the goodness of his heart, just so he can actually really try and help these people and just cover the cost of that he needed to make it, but he didn't really need to make a profit out of it. So I thought that was touching too. And when we went to New Life Ranch yesterday, it was new because I was experiencing the ropes course with new people, because I've done ropes courses before at school and stuff, but it was a new experience being with a different group of people. And with you guys and everything, and I thought it was a really good opening, like, you know, taking risks out of your comfort zone experience. So overall, like, everything that we did here was new, but there was some aspect of like kind of the olden life to it, like an oldness sort of. And I think that's a really good mixture to like apply to the present and to go out and try and help these people like we're doing. So I had a lot of fun.
Wow.